Ennis and Gunnar both brought up the Matthews thing to me yesterday, and I wanted to get your guys' take on this. That he said, 4 months of rehab or whatever, like he should be able to get back to 100%. Should they have put him on LTIR and spent the money? And, do you think he would have pushed back against that his first year as a captain? But, this is all hindsight 2020 stuff, clearly. But, we're captain hindsight right now. The Leafs aren't playing anymore. In hindsight, maybe you should have considered it. Maybe a couple months off would have really done the trick for him.
Now it looks good. The other question is, if you want to spend that money to get better players at the deadline, look at the assets they gave up to get Carlo and Lawton.
Mm-hmm.
What else could you have
fair take
purchased with what you had, to use the Matthews money?
But they had to add extra to be able to retain and all this different stuff.
Yeah.
So
I
don't know.
We had these conversations, guys. We talked about putting him on a long-term IR. We had the conversation of don't go to Four Nations.
Yeah.
Don't go.
We had that conversation a lot.
A lot. And what happens if, me personally, I didn't like him coming out and playing the injury card. I think he just should have been quiet about it.
Oh, he was asked about it. He didn't volunteer it.
No.
He's asked about it.
No, you when you answer it, you volunteer your answer. He could have said,
no comment.
I'm not going there. I'm not using it as an excuse, right? We just weren't good enough.
I would have preferred him to be more forthcoming to help him his own perception, to be honest with you. But anyways, we don't have to go too deep into it.
If you were good enough to be on the ice, then just let your play stand alone. That's my whole point.
Yep.
Sam.
It's fair.
Sam.
It's fair.
That's all, right?
Fair.
Because everybody's hurting. Everybody's not 100%. I'm sure he wasn't, of course, but anybody can turn around and say, I'm hurt or I'm not 100%.
Hey, are you hurt? And he said, I don't want to talk about it. And then we're saying, how dare he talk about it? It's like what he had to say words. I don't know. Tough spot for the kid.
Yeah, but you could have just said, no, I was good enough to play.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all.
All right.
Anyways.
So, that's why I brought it up.
All right.
I shouldn't have.
You want to start into this a little bit?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So, once again, let's revisit the fact that I gave you a homework assignment.
Yes.
And I asked you for, let's just say, for argument's sake, 5 top decisions made over the course of Brendan Shanahan's tenure with the Leafs, and 5 not so great.
I had a lot easier time with not so great.
Do you want to start with not so great or great?
I mean, let's start with not so great.
Present away.
So hold on.
13 bad ones.
Okay, but did you rank them from least to the worst?
I wouldn't. I mean, number one's obvious.
Okay, let's start at the bottom first. What do you got for me?
Okay, bottom.
It's not that obvious because I don't know what it is.
The bottom, we'll start with the bottom. Ryan Reeves signing, 13th on the list.
Yeah, okay.
I got 0 issues for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
0.
really?
Yeah.
It's not perfect.
Yeah.
A guy that's making $1 million, he brought some attitude. You know what he brought? He brought the belief that we're not going to get pushed around anymore. It wasn't perfect, and he went more on reputation than actually dropping his gloves. But at least it showed that they're kind of driving it to the right direction of we're not going to be pushovers anymore.
That was, but I mean, to be fair, I don't want to spend too much time on this.
Okay.
That was my 13th one because you told me to start at the bottom.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Okay. Morgan Riley contract, where we're sitting here now, is not so great.
Okay.
But it's
not, lower at the bottom too.
Yeah, even that, it's not a negative trade value contract. You probably get back a
sure about
fifth
that?
For it or something.
Sure about that?
You don't have to add anything to your
I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm okay with it at 7.5. If it was, it's like, boys, Seth Jones. Okay, let's just talk about that. Dead in the water in Chicago. Nobody wants him. Untradeable contract. Blah 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 blah. Okay, he stinks. He's no good. He's exposed. No one's going to touch him. That's all I heard from various people.
Okay.
What happens? They eat a little bit of his salary.
Mhm.
He goes from unworkable conditions in Chicago
Mhm.
to a great scenario for the Florida Panthers, who is arguably the best player on the ice in Game 7, and now he's doing it for Florida now. Okay? That's, to me, that gives Morgan Riley and a bunch of those guys, Carlson
Mm.
in Pittsburgh, it gives teams hope that just because it doesn't work here, it doesn't mean I can't make it work there.
How about a good move?
Sprinkle it in.
The Jake Muzzin trade was a good
Yeah,
move.
Muzzin's pretty high on my list of trades I
Yeah.
like.
We're going to look back in the Brendan Shanahan era. And we're going to say, what could it have looked like if he would have been able to stay healthy?
He missed 2 playoff runs right when he was basically their best defenseman.
Yep.
You know?
So
And if you had him, you wouldn't have had to go out there and spend it on Jake McCabe.
Yeah.
he was, and the trade was Dursey, which hurts. I mean,
Does it?
not terribly. Carl Gunstrom. And
Muzzin made up for that.
Yeah, and a first-round pick was, which was Tobias Bjornfoot. So that was a good trade for the Leafs, and I love Jake Muzzin. And his first game, I remember he hammered somebody and scored a goal, and I was like, oh my God,
That's
I
our dude.
love him
He
so
was there.
much.
He was at home before at home.
Yeah,
Can I give you a positive one for me?
yeah. Let's do it.
Okay.
See if I have one on my list.
Stolars.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I know at the very beginning, we're like, okay, can he stay healthy? Can he stay healthy? And lo and behold, he couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
But what he gave the Leafs to win the Atlantic Division and solidify that they were going to get out of the first round was way more than I ever thought.
Yeah.
And the goaltending was as spectacular as I've seen. I don't know how far I got to go back, but it was right up there with Curtis Joseph and Ed Belfour,
Can I ask?
Felix Potvin.
Can I ask you a mean, unanswerable question?
Yes.
Do they beat Florida with him as a starting goalie?
I think it's a fair question if he would have been able to
No?
stay healthy. I think it's a fair question.
It's worth asking, but
Does-
they
Yeah.
weren't even close.
I mean,
And-
I
if
just
they
and
played like
it's
that.
game
in-
3.
It's a fair question. Could he have stolen game 3
Yeah.
and game 7? I don't know.
No, it's not. I don't think game 5 or game 7 are part of the equation for me. I really don't. But it's game.
Okay. Okay.
That's pretty much it.
For me, remaking the decor, like Carlo and Tanev have made the puzzle pieces fit for the first time.
So this
Buddy,
is so the good moves of the last 11 years
hold on.
are this past offseason, boys.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
Yeah.
A lot of them are. But I bypass Carlo and I go straight to Benoit.
Yeah.
Okay.
He brought in
Benoit to me was
Tanev.
bigger than Carlo. I was shocked. I remember